So it started when I was probably 12 going up to 13 is when I started putting on most of my weight. I sort of realised it more and more when people started pointing it out. I went from football to rugby, and then I knew I had to sort of put on a bit of size to gain some strength. But I think I got too obsessed with it and over obsessive with like eating, and then I ended up getting lazy. I didn't have many friends, so I sort of stayed at home most of the time playing like Xbox and other games. People started pointing out my weight quite often when we was doing lots of like PE and sports day and stuff. I'd quite often either collapse or throw up after even like little runs because I was extremely overweight and unfit. But I knew I needed to change. Well, at the time, my mental health was awful. I was getting bullied for being fat, and even when I started losing the weight, I went from one extreme to the other, where I started getting quite skinny. I had a pedal bike that I used to ride everywhere, like from school to see friends and everything. And I lost probably around 2 stone from year 8 to year 9. And then from year 9, I was able to go to the gym when I turned 14. I sort of fell in love with gym around then. I had no clue what I was doing, I was just starting off, but I sort of fell in love with the process and how much progress I was making so fast. I started seeing that I was more and more happy with myself and feeling a lot less self-conscious, and a lot of people noticed how I've lost all the fat and how much muscle I've gained. Lockdown actually surprisingly helped me, unlike everyone else, where I know many people had problems from lockdown where they felt quite isolated and secluded from everyone. And me, on the other hand, I thought that was probably the best thing that actually happened to me. I had loads of time to focus on myself pretty much every day for 2 years, although during one of the years I was working doing building. I had to move, I think, 8 or 9 tonne of rubble on my own by hand in a day. Plus, I think after that I went to the gym and I tried sniffing salts for one of the first times. And I was doing that on deadlifts, and I just overloaded well too much on my back in such a short span. And my lower back got pulled up, I had a muscle strain. That's taken 2 months and it still hasn't properly healed because I can't rest it as well from work. So that's been a big stress and a big problem with my gym. I can't train as well as I used to do, so I've lost a load of progress. My mental health right now definitely could be worse. If I didn't have as supportive friends or as caring of a girlfriend as I do, I don't think I would be able to cope with anything really, because gym was my only sort of stress relief, and now I haven't really got that. Like, I just wouldn't really be able to cope with anything. Can't work, can't do anything really now. So, yeah, I'd suggest to anyone that's sort of starting gym, you don't overindulge yourself or become too obsessed with training, because you can ruin the fact that you enjoy training. You get so self-conscious and stuck in your own like little bubble of you just feeling shit 24/7 that from overtraining you can lose progress, and sort of a cycle. Yeah, I definitely would say I've suffered with body dysmorphia from being bullied from like year 8 onwards for how I look. I would say it's a big impact on my mental health and the way I see myself. And even now, instead of looking back and thinking how much I've achieved, I always look at social media and see that people, how good they're looking. But even though they've been training probably 5, 10 years more than me and so much more experience, I see them and it does put me down quite a lot, because I don't look half as good as what they look. Yeah, I think I just need to learn to be happy with myself. I'll definitely suggest to anyone that's starting to train, do your research before you start training. Celebrate even like little achievements that you're doing in the gym. I think lastly, I'd definitely suggest that like trust the process, don't rush into it or go over the top of it. After all, you are running a marathon, not a sprint.